All right, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and get started creating our simple alarm clock app. Throughout this app, we're going to have a couple different features. The first one being the ability to enter a certain hour we want for the alarm. We're also going to have the ability to enter a certain minute as well. And then also whether we're using AM or PM for our alarm. On top of that, we can go ahead and turn on the alarm with this button here, and then also turn it off here as well. Throughout this, we're going to be using local storage to save all our values. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you have your Android emulator up and running just like this. Perfect. Also, make sure you're in your empty folder that you want to create the new project in. All right, once you're here, let's go ahead and open up a new terminal. All right, let's go ahead and create our new project. I'm going to go ahead and do npx create dash expo dash app, and then go ahead and give your app a name. I'm just going to call mine new alarm app. Go ahead, hit enter. Let that load. All right, looks like it loaded, and we have our little folder over here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and cd into that in the terminal. So cd space drag and drop your new project. Awesome. Should now say you're in the new project and master over here. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and type in clear in the terminal real quick. All right. I'm also going to go ahead and click on the app.js that just got created. All right. We're going to go ahead and install a couple packages real quick. I'm going to go ahead and copy out packages so you can type it along. I'm going to paste my packages right under here. You can copy these down if you want to. This one is going to be for the React native async storage right here. And then we're also going to be using this one here for Expo notifications. Awesome. So let's go ahead and do the first one. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to paste it in my terminal. Hit enter. Awesome. All right, make sure you got that downloaded. Then go ahead and do the second one. Perfect. All right, awesome. So make sure you got both those installed. Now, apart from that, we're also going to go into the app.json right here. We're going to scroll on down to the bottom, and we're going to have to add some code for the Expo notifications. And this is where we can basically set up a couple things. I'm going to copy my code here. You can copy it. So right underneath the web one right here, I'm going to paste what I have. Don't forget to add a comma right there if you're adding another one. I'm going to add an enter there just to make it look nicer. This is just for the Expo notifications that we're using. And then we go ahead and set a couple values to these. One is just the icon, which I'm setting it to this here, which is a package we already have when we create the project. And then I'm also going to go ahead and just give it a color for the icon as well. And you can change this to whatever you want. Now, one more thing we could add here, and this is for the sound. Now, I'm not going to be actually using sound for my alarm, but you can use it for yours. All you have to do is, of course, add a comma here, enter, and then paste in this little code. And I'm going to go ahead and give it some quotes around these sounds right here. All right. And then in here, you can go ahead and add a specific sounds you want. All right. Now, currently, I don't have any sounds. This is just the file path you would add if you wanted to add one. All right. So you would go ahead and add brackets around it if you want. If you only have one, though, you don't need those brackets. You can go ahead and just leave it as is with these. You might have to give it double quotes instead of single quotes. Sometimes it doesn't like doubles or singles. There we go. Awesome. So if you want to add a sound for your notification / alarm, then you go ahead and add sounds here, colon, and then of course the link to your sounds. If I was you, I'd put it in the assets folder here and somewhere over here, just like we have our icon and our splash. Awesome. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this for mine though. I don't want to use that for mine. I'm going to save what I got here. I'm going to go back to app.json, save here as well. All right, let's go ahead and test it out. Make sure everything's working though in our app. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do npx expo start, hit enter. Let's let that load. All right, make sure your emulator's up and running. Go ahead and type A for Android. Should start opening. Might crash the first time. If it does, then just reload the whole thing. All right, looks like it's working for me. Perfect. So far, so good. I will see you in the next video. All right, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and create the app.js file for our alarm app. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So first thing first, we're going to go ahead and make sure we have all of our imports in our app.js. So currently we have the status bar one, and then we also have the style sheet, text, and view. All right, so currently that works out pretty well, but we're also going to go ahead and add one more down here. So I'm going to do an import. In this import, I'm going to go ahead and add a alarm clock. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a from double quotes dot slash, and then the alarm clock. Awesome. All right, make sure you have that in there. Perfect. Then inside of our return of our output right over here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of everything in here, including the view. All right, we're going to go ahead and give it some empty less than symbols, just like that, and the closing tag right there. Inside those two tags, we're also going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and add the alarm clock, and then we're going to go ahead and do a slash backslash, just like that. Awesome. All right, so now that we're taking in our alarm clock from alarm clock, that should work out. Go ahead and save this here. All right, let's go ahead and create this file real quick. So inside our main folder, I'm going to right click, new file. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do alarm clock.js. Go ahead and hit enter. Awesome. And then simply enough, we're just simply going to go back into our app.js. I'm going to copy everything in here. Control C. Going to go ahead, paste this here. I'm going to go ahead and change this app here. I'm going to do alarm clock. I'm going to copy that, alarm clock, and then go ahead. Actually, we can keep that just the same. Awesome. And actually, I'm going to take away this here. Perfect. Go ahead and save this. All right. Go ahead and reload your app. You might need to hit A on it. Pop open the app again. And to test it out, actually, while this is loading, go ahead and get rid of this here. We're going to go ahead, pass in a view. And then inside the view, I'm going to pass in some text. In between those two texts, I'm just going to say the word working. Save that. Go ahead, rerun it with A. Open up your emulator. Might need to close it and open it up this way. All right, there you go. I know the text isn't centered, but it is working. Perfect. All right, don't forget to save. I will see you in the next video. All right, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and get started adding some of the imports to our alarm clock JS file. Let's go ahead, jump right in, and get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you're in your app clock.js right over here. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and add some imports now. Currently, we have these ones here, but we're going to add some more. So I'm going to go ahead and do a comma after view. Then we're going to go ahead and add the pressable one. So go ahead, add that there. Then we're going to do a comma, and we're also going to go ahead and we're going to add the text input. Not text base. There we go, text input. All right, and I think that should be it for that one there. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead underneath here. Now we're also going to go ahead and do another import. Import star as notifications, just like that, from, in quotes, of Expo notifications, just like that. Awesome. Semicolon. All right. Underneath that, we're going to go ahead and do another import. In some curly brackets now, we're going to go ahead and add the use effect. Awesome. Make sure you don't have that double curly bracket. All right, let's go back in here though. We're going to do a comma, and we're also going to go ahead and we're going to add the use state. Perfect. All right. Underneath that one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do another import. We're going to go ahead, give it some curly brackets, and this time we're going to add a log box right here. Perfect. Make sure it's from React Native, just like that. Awesome. All right, then the last import we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and do import no curly brackets async storage from @native async storage / async storage. Awesome. All right, make sure you got all those in there. Perfect. Now we're actually going to go ahead and use this log box real quick. Still here underneath the imports, we're going to go ahead and do capital log box dot, and I'm going to do ignore logs. In there, we're going to go ahead and pass in some parentheses. Then we're going to go ahead and give it some regular brackets. In those regular brackets, I'm going to give it double quotes and do new. And then I'm going to call native event emitter. Awesome. All right. And then below that, we're going to go ahead and do a log box dot ignore all logs. And then go ahead, give it some parentheses, semicolon. This is just going to ignore some of the logs we're getting that are just currently not working with the certain versions I have, which is the new native event emitter. All right, awesome. So make sure you got that there as well. All right, then we're going to create a simple notifications state here we're going to be using. So we're going to do notifications. Oh, make sure you got notifications. Notifications dot set notifications handler should be right here. There we go. Notifications handler. Then we're going to go ahead and give it some parentheses, open it up with some curly brackets. All right, we're going to add a couple things in here real quick. First thing we're going to do is add a handle notification. Give it a colon. Then we're going to do async. Go ahead, give it some parentheses. Then we're going to do equal. We're going to do less than, curly brackets. Actually, no curly brackets first, regular brackets, and then curly brackets. Open that up. Awesome. All right. So inside of here, we're going to go ahead and set a couple things. This is just for Expo's notification handler. I'm going to do should play sound. And for me, if you remember, I'm setting this to false, but you can set this to true. But you have to go ahead back in your app.json and find your sound and set it to whatever file you want to use for your sounds. Okay. I'm going to have a silent alarm for mine, but if you want that alarm sound, make sure to set that in there. Awesome. All right, I'm going to do a comma. Then we're also going to go ahead and do a should show alert. And I'm going to set that to true, comma. And then we're also going to go ahead and do a should show badge. Should set badge. There we go. And I'm going to set that to false as well. Now you can set these true if you want, but then you have to set everything up in the app.json if you want it. You can check out the official documentation for Expo notifications on Google. That would be there. All right, awesome. So make sure you got all that in there. All right, make sure you got the notifications, that set notifications with all of the imports as well. Awesome. All right, go ahead and save everything you have here. Perfect. Alrighty, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video and serious about becoming a developer, you should totally consider joining Red Fools Academy. Once you sign up, you will get full access to all of our premium courses, support from myself and the Red Fools Studio team. Our courses include full stack website development, app development, game development, and many more to come. On your first sign up, you get a free 7 days to try it all out. A link will be added to the description, or you can go to the official website at redfoolstudio.com. See you in the lectures! Alright, so in this video we're going to go ahead and add all the functions for our alarm app. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, let's go ahead and get started working on some of these functions. So we're going to go ahead right underneath our line here on 22. We're going to go ahead and add a couple enters. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a couple constants. So let's create a constant. Let's go ahead and create, actually before we do the one with brackets, let's go ahead and do the notifications, or just notification. All right, then we're going to go ahead and do a listener. All right, we're going to go ahead and equal that to use ref, give it some empty parentheses just like that, semicolon. Awesome. All right, make sure you got that there. Then underneath that, we're going to go ahead and add another constant. We're going to go ahead, give it some regular brackets. We're going to go ahead and call this notification with no S, all right, comma. And we're going to go ahead and do a set notifications, or notification. All right, and we're going to go ahead, equal. We're going to go ahead and equal that to a use state. Awesome. In there, we're going to go ahead and set this to false. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and add another one. Scroll down here a little bit. We're going to create another constant. This constant, we're going to go ahead, give it some brackets. We're going to go ahead and add hour. And I'm going to go ahead and do 2 R's because we can't have the same hour as just the word, or it might interfere with some of the other values we're going to set. So I'm going to go ahead and do set, and then just capital H, hour, like that. Perfect. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and do an equal. I'm going to do use state. And we're going to go ahead at the beginning, set this just to an empty string, just like that. Awesome. All right. Underneath that, we're going to go ahead, create another constant, give it some brackets. In here, I'm going to go ahead and do minute. I'm going to add 2 E's, comma, set minute. Awesome. All right, go ahead and equal. And I'm going to go ahead and do use state again. Give it some parentheses, and we're going to keep those empty for now. Awesome. All right, so far so good. Let's go ahead and add another one now, another constant. This one, we're going to go ahead, give it some brackets. I'm going to do this one for the AM, PM. All right, comma. Then we're also going to go ahead and do a set, capital A, AM, PM, just like that. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead, equal that. And we're going to go ahead again, do a use state. And we're going to set that to an empty string, just like we did in the past. Awesome. All right, let's create one more constant. We're going to go ahead, give it some regular brackets. Then we're going to go ahead and do notification ID. All right, comma, set notification ID. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to equal this to use state again. And instead of empty string, we're actually going to go ahead and just equal this to none for now. Because at the beginning, we want the notification ID to set to none. Awesome. Make sure you got all this down. All right, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and jump on to the next one. We're going to go ahead and do a use effect here. Let's go ahead, give it some parentheses, some empty parentheses. Let's go ahead and do an equal less than, curly brackets, open it up. Awesome. And then at the ending one over here, I'm just going to go ahead and do a comma and then an empty brackets. All right. And because we're using empty brackets, this means it's going to go ahead and activate everything in here immediately once we start the app. Awesome. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is call a function that we're going to create later, just called getData. All right. Oh, make sure. Just getData, just like that, semicolon. All right. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a notification listener. We're going to do dot current equal. Then we're going to go ahead do a notifications dot add notifications received listener. Should be this one here. Perfect. Then we're going to go ahead, give it some parentheses, some inner parentheses. In here, we're going to pass in notification. We're going to go ahead. We're going to equal that less than. Open it up with some curly brackets. And for now, I think we can just keep this. Actually, we're actually going to throw in a set notifications. And then pass in, again, that notifications. Awesome. So this is just initializing all of our notifications, because of course we want to grab our notification listener and then set it to exactly what our notification is. Awesome. All right. Underneath this though, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pass in a return. So let's go ahead and do that. Return. We're going to give it some parentheses. Then we're going to go ahead, equal, less than, curly brackets, open it up. In here, we're going to go ahead, capital N, notifications, dot, remove, notifications, subscription, parentheses, open that up. Then we're going to go ahead and do a notifications listener dot current. Perfect, just like that. Awesome. All right, make sure you got that in there. All right, looking good so far. Go ahead and save all of that. Control S. Make sure you got that down. Perfect. All right. So underneath that use effect, we're going to add another thing. We're going to go ahead and just create a new little value that we're going to use. So we're going to do a let, and we're going to go ahead and do date equal date to new capital D date parentheses semicolon at the end. Awesome. Below that, we're going to go ahead and do date dot set seconds. And then within there, we're going to pass in the date dot get seconds. And then we're going to go ahead, pass in some parentheses, and then we're just going to add 5. Awesome. All right. Go ahead, semicolon here. Now this might just be useful for testing at the moment, so don't worry about it. All right. Then scrolling down, we're going to go ahead and create an async function now. So async function. This async function, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to call it schedule notifications handler. Just like that. Give it some parentheses. Let's go ahead and open it up with some curly brackets. All right. We're going to be adding a couple things in here. It's going to be a pretty big function. All right. So first thing I'm going to do in here is I'm going to go ahead and do a console log. Console.log. And we're going to go ahead and do console.log for the notifications ID. Just like that. Perfect. We're going to do a semicolon there. All right. Underneath that, we're going to go ahead and give it an if statement. In this if statement, we're going to go ahead and do notifications ID triple equals none, because we want, if it equals none, then we're going to go ahead and set some new things. So let's go ahead and open that up. In there, we're going to go ahead and set a variable to new hour. Go ahead, equal that to parse int. We're going to go ahead and pass in the hour. We're just ensuring that this is going to be an integer value. That's why we're doing a parse int. All right, semicolon. Then we're also going to go ahead and do another if. And we're going to go ahead and do AM, PM, triple equals PM. All right. So if it equals PM, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and set new hour equals new hour plus 12. Because of course, if it's PM hours, then we're going to have to add 12 hours to it. Awesome. Go ahead, semicolon after that. All right. So we're still inside of our current if statement, but outside of the PM1 right here. We're going to go ahead and keep adding some things. Let's keep moving. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and create a constant. This one's going to be called identifier. Identifier, there we go. Equals await notifications dot schedule notifications async. I think it should be this one. Yep. Schedule notifications async. Pass in some parentheses, then some curly brackets. Open that up. All right. So inside of here, we're going to go ahead and add a couple things. First thing we're going to do is add a content colon. Open it up with some curly brackets. Now we can go ahead and set the specific content we want for this notification. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a title for mine. Whoop. Here's the title. Colon. I'm going to set my title just to alarm. Comma. I'm also going to go ahead and give it a body. For my body, I'm just going to give it a simple, it is time to wake up, exclamation point. All right, and you can make that whatever you want. I'm just doing that for now. Then I'm also going to go ahead and pass in some data, and you're able to do this as well. Go ahead, give it some curly brackets. I'm going to do data, colon, parentheses, and just say your morning alarm data. Awesome. All right, make sure you got that there. Perfect. We're going to do a comma. All right, so outside of that content, we're going to put a comma there as well. Then we're also going to go ahead and add something called a trigger, colon, open it up, some curly brackets. All right, so in this trigger, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add hour, colon, new hour, because we're grabbing in that new value that we're going to be setting, comma. We're also going to go ahead and set the minute, which I'm going to go ahead and make it a parse int. And I'm going to go ahead and do minute to ease, perfect, comma. And then we're also going to go ahead and set the repeat to true, because of course our alarm is going to be a daily alarm. That means we need to set the repeat to true, just like that. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead, keep going. So outside of this, we can go ahead and semicolon for our original if statement here. All right, but we're still inside the none if statement. So let's go ahead, keep going. So now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to set amp to empty quotes, because we want to reset our values once we set everything correctly. So the next one we're going to do is the set hour one. Again, empty quotes. Again, we're going to go ahead, set minute, parentheses, empty quotes. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and just do a simple console.log, parentheses, and I just want to log the date so we know we have the right date, semicolon. I'm also going to go ahead and do another console log. We're going to go ahead and set this console log again to the identifier, because I want to make sure it's correct again, semicolon. After that, we're going to go ahead and do a set notifications, or just set notification ID. Actually, it's going to be a new function we're going to create down the road, set notification ID. And then we're going to go ahead and pass in the identifier, because remember, that's the new identifier number we're going to be using. All right, so make sure you got that there. Underneath that, we're going to go ahead and do a store data now. This is another function we're going to make. And I'm going to go ahead and pass in identifier. Perfect. All right, make sure you got that there. All right, now the last thing we're going to do is create an else. So even though we have if for none, of course, if it's already set, we don't want to go ahead and add new data to everything. We're going to remove the data first. So we're going to go ahead and do an else here. We're going to open that up. Inside of our else, we're going to, of course, alert our user. And I'm simply going to say something like turn off alarm before starting a new one. Awesome. All right. And again, we're going to go ahead and reset all of our data. So I'm going to copy all these ones here. I'm going to simply paste them right underneath, just like that. Perfect. All right. And we could, if we want to, we could do some console logs just so we can help track some things. So I'm going to do again another console log just to make sure we have everything set. Notification ID. And then we can do another console log. Whoop. And this one's simply just going to be a little thing for us where we can look at and just say not working. Awesome. All right. Looking good. Go ahead and save all that. Perfect. Let's go ahead and move on to the next function now. All right. This one's going to be for turning off the alarm. So let's go ahead and create that. Let's go ahead and do an async function. Async function. And we're going to go ahead and call this turn off alarm. Fix that L. All right. Then we're going to go ahead, give it some parentheses, open it up with some curly brackets. All right. Inside of here, I'm going to start off with a simple console log. In that console log, we're going to go ahead and just do the notification ID. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and do an if statement in here as well. And we're going to do if notification ID exclamation point equals for does not equal none. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do an await notifications dot cancel scheduled notifications async. And we're going to go ahead and do notifications ID because that's the ID we set originally that we're passing in. All right. Or technically it's a global variable, so we're not passing it in here. We're just gathering it after, of course, it's created there. Then we're going to go ahead and do another constant. I'm going to go ahead and call this reset value. I'm going to make that reset value equal to our none in quotes, because that's what we're going to do when we want to reset our value. Then we're going to go ahead and do another await. We're going to do a set notifications ID. And I'm going to set that, of course, to our reset value. Awesome. And then below that, we're going to go ahead and do the store data function that we're going to create in a little bit. And we're going to set that to the reset value, just like that. Awesome. Then we're also going to go ahead and do an else after that if statement. So let's do an else. Open that up. Inside the else, we're going to, of course, alert our player or user. We're going to go ahead and do in quotes of alarm already turned off. All right, because of course if it's already turned off, then we want to notify the user. Awesome. We're going to do a console log. Console.log. And simply enough, I'm just going to put the notification ID. Just like that. All right, make sure you got that down. That's for our turning off function. Okay, awesome. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do the store data function. So let's go ahead underneath this one, scroll on down. We're going to do async again. So async function, store data, parentheses. We're going to go ahead and actually put ID in here because we're going to be passing in ID of that notification. So let's go ahead and open that guy up. Perfect. All right, first thing we're going to do is put a try. We're going to open up that try. In that try, we're going to go ahead and create a constant. I'm going to call this saved values. I'm going to go ahead and equal that into the passed in ID that we have. Perfect. Semicolon. Then we're going to go ahead and do another constant. This constant I'm just going to call JSON value. I'm going to go ahead and equal that to await async storage dot set item. Go ahead, pass in some parentheses, open that up, and we're going to go ahead and give it the key name, and I'm going to call my key name the current alarm ID. Perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a comma. I'm going to pass in capital JSON, just like that, dot stringify. We need to stringify anything we're passing in. Saved values. Awesome. All right. So now we have our ID, we're passing it into the async storage and setting it with the key name of current alarm ID. Awesome. All right, semicolon there. Then, still inside the try, we're going to go ahead and do a return. And I'm going to return the JSON value. Awesome. All right, outside of the try, we're going to go ahead and do a catch. I'm going to go ahead and just give E for the error. Open that up. And then simply do an alert with the error inside. Awesome. Perfect. All right, make sure you got all that down. I'm going to save that as well. Looking good. All right, let's go ahead and do the next function. This is going to be the get data function. So again, we're going to do an async function. I'm going to call this again get data, parentheses, and then go ahead, open that up. Awesome. So we're going to add a couple things inside this function. We're simply going to start off with that try, open it up with some curly brackets. Inside this try, we're going to create a constant variable. I'm going to call this JSON value again. Go ahead, do an equal await. Again, we're going to do async storage dot. This time we're going to do get item or get data. Or actually, yeah, it's get item. All right, get date or get item. And we have to go, of course, give it the key value that we want to get. And if you remember, it is the current alarm ID. So go ahead, paste that in there. Perfect. Go ahead, do a semicolon right there. Awesome. All right, underneath that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do another constant. We're going to go ahead and do JSON value 2 this time. And we're going to go ahead and equal that to all caps JSON dot parse, because we're going to be reversing stringify. And then, of course, we're going to grab the data, which is just JSON value. Awesome. All right, go ahead and make sure you got that there. Perfect. Then after that, we're going to simply do a set notifications ID. And then we're going to go ahead and pass in what we want to set it to, which of course is going to be the JSON value 2. Awesome. All right, make sure you got that there. And then the last thing we got to do is, of course, a catch. Give it an E inside some parentheses, open it up. All right, and do an alert. And then I'm going to alert the error that we get, if we get the error. All right, looking good so far. Go ahead and save that as well. Make sure you got that one for get data here. Then scroll up, make sure you got the one for get or store data for this one here. Awesome. All right, I'm going to scroll up again. Make sure you got the turn off alarm one here. Okay, awesome. And then the bigger one where we have a couple else down here, some stuff here, and then of course the starting section here. All right, make sure you got all this. I know this one was a lot. All right, and then of course, make sure you have your use effect over here as well. All right, and then of course the constants. Alrighty, that's it for this video. Don't forget to save. I will see you in the next video. Alright, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and create the structure for our alarm app. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Scroll on all the way down till you get to our return right over here with our view and text. Alright, we're going to be adding a couple things in here. Inside of our current view we have, we're going to go ahead and type in style. And we're going to go ahead, do an equal, curly brackets, styles with an S, dot, and we're going to use the container one for this one. Perfect. All right, then let's go into that text we already have right over here. I'm going to go into the opening tag, and we're going to go ahead and type in style, equal, curly brackets, styles with an S, and we're going to go ahead and give this one a dot of, let's do this as header, just like that. Awesome. And I'm going to take away the text of working and just put instead alarm app. Awesome. All right, looking good. Now below that text, we're going to go ahead and do a text input now. Let's go ahead and add that. I'm going to do a slash and a closing tag, so we only need one. All right, so in here though, I'm going to go ahead, of course, give it a style, equal, curly brackets, styles with an S. We're going to do a dot, and I'm going to go ahead and call this just lowercase text input, just like that. Awesome. All right, still inside the opening tag, we're going to go ahead and now we're going to go ahead and do a placeholder. And for this one's placeholder, I'm going to put enter hour. All right, make that lowercase. All right, perfect. And then we're also going to go ahead, we're going to give it a value, and I'm going to make the value of curly brackets. And I'm going to go ahead and do hour with 2 R's. Awesome. All right, make sure you got that in there. All right, we're going to go ahead and add one more thing, and that's going to be the onChange text. So onChange text. We're going to go ahead and equal that to a parenthesis of text. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to do a equal less than, and then do a set hour. And then of course, we're going to set it to text. Awesome. All right, perfect. Make sure you got that in there. All right, now let's go ahead and copy that whole text input. And we're going to paste that below. All right, and this one here is going to be for the minute. So I'm going to change hour to minute right here. All right. Oop, make sure you're inside the view still. Looks like I mixed that up. So go ahead, copy that. Paste it underneath. Perfect. All right, again, change the hour to a minute. All right. And then we're also going to go ahead, change the hour with 2 R's to minute with 2 E's. Perfect. And then instead of the set hour for this one, we're going to do set minute. Perfect. Just like that. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and copy that whole thing again. Now we're going to go ahead, paste that underneath. All right. This time we're going to go ahead and put enter AM or PM for there. Perfect. Change the value, and I'm going to change that to the AM, PM. Awesome. And then over here to the set minute, we're going to go ahead and change that to the set AM, PM. Awesome. All right, make sure you got all those text inputs in there. Perfect. All right, so then below that, still inside the view, we're going to go ahead and create a pressable now. Let's go ahead and open that pressable up. Inside the pressable, I'm going to also give it a text. All right, back inside the opening tag of that pressable, let's go ahead and give it a style equal curly brackets, styles with an S, dot, and I'm going to go ahead and just do button for this one. All right, we're also going to go ahead and do an on press inside that opening tag, so on press. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do schedule notifications handler. Awesome. All right, make sure you got that there. Perfect. All right, inside of our text though, we're also going to go ahead, give it a style equal curly brackets, styles with an S, dot, and we're going to go ahead and call this button text. Just like that. Perfect. All right, and then in the inside of the both tags, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to put turn on alarm. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and copy that entire pressable object. All right, we're going to paste that underneath. Perfect. This time we're going to go ahead and change the on press here. I'm going to change this to the turn off function that we have. Perfect. And then we can leave everything the same except turn on the alarm. I'm going to put turn off the alarm. Awesome. All right, looking good. Go ahead, you can save that, Control S. Make sure you got the pressables down here. And of course, make sure you have all the text inputs and the text header. All right, looking good. I will see you in the next video. All right, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and add all the style to our alarm app. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Before we start though, we gotta, of course, see our structure. And I noticed we're getting 2 little errors. So the first one is saying we do not have the property of useRef. So scroll up here at the top if you've not already. On the import over here from React, go ahead, put a comma after useState and put useRef. Perfect. Go ahead and save that. Then you might get another little alert because I think I named one of my variables wrong. So scroll on down here and in our get data right over here, looks like I forgot to put JSON value over here. So go ahead and copy that JSON value, paste it right over here. Perfect. All right, save that. And then if you go ahead and reopen your app, I'm going to start from scratch over here. Shouldn't get any errors. Awesome. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and add some style now. So let's scroll on down right over here in our style area. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure that we got everything. Currently, this container here looks pretty good to me. It centered everything well, so that's good. Let's go ahead and add another one. This one's going to be for the header. So I'm going to give a colon, curly brackets. All right, so in here, I'm going to go ahead and set the color to green for mine. Awesome. Let's do a comma. All right, below that, we're also going to go ahead and give it a margin. I'm going to set the margin to a 20, comma. I'm also going to go ahead and give it a font size. I'm going to set that font size to 60. Perfect. Then we're also going to go ahead and do a font weight. And I'm going to set that font weight simply just to bold. All right. Make sure you got that down for the header. Perfect. All right. I'm going to go ahead, scrolling down a little bit, do a comma, enter. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and do another one. This one's going to be for the button. So I'm going to do button, colon, open that up. All right. In there, I'm going to go ahead and give it some width, colon. I'm going to give it double quotes. Inside those quotes, I'm going to go ahead now and do a 70%. All right, perfect. Go ahead and do a comma after that. All right, under the width, I'm going to go ahead and give it a background color. I'm going to give it a colon. And I'm going to also go ahead and make this green as well. Awesome. Do a comma. All right, underneath that, we're going to go ahead and do a border radius. I'm going to set my border radius simply to 18, comma. All right. Then we're also going to go ahead and do a margin. I'm going to set the margin to a 15. Perfect, comma. All right. And then we're also going to go ahead and do some padding. And I'm going to set the padding to a 5. Control S. All right. Make sure you got that down. Perfect. Then let's go ahead and do the next one. Now this one here, this one's going to be for the button text. So let's go ahead and add that, colon, curly brackets, open that up. All right. I'm going to go ahead and add some color. I'm going to make the color for the text just white. Awesome. Do a comma. All right. Underneath that, we're also going to go ahead and do a text align. And I'm going to go ahead and set that to center. Perfect. Comma. All right. I'm also going to go ahead and give it a font size as well. And I'm going to set this font size to 35. Perfect. All right. Underneath that, I'm going to go ahead and do a font weight as well. And I'm going to go ahead and set that font weight to simply bold. All right. Perfect. Let's go ahead. And actually, I think that's good for that button text. So I'm going to save that, Control S. Awesome. Make sure you got that down. I'm going to scroll down again. All right. The next one, I'm going to go ahead. And this is simply just going to be for the text input. Make sure it's lowercase t. Open that up. All right. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and do a font size. I'm going to set that font size to 30, comma. And then I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to do a margin. And I'm going to set that margin to 5. Awesome. All right, go ahead and save that. That should be enough style. So go ahead and make sure you got all that down. The text input, button text, the button, the header, and then also the container. And if you go ahead and open up your app, there you go. Everything looks pretty good to me. I like it. Alrighty, don't forget to save. I will see you in the next video. Alright, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and review the alarm app that we created and fix any bugs that were found. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, let's get started. So this is the current app that we've created. It's a simple alarm app where we can go ahead and enter the hour, the minute, and whether it's going to be AM or PM. So for instance, if I wanted to set an alarm for 2, maybe 22, and then we set it for PM, we could go ahead and turn on the alarm. There you go. If we go ahead and try to put in another alarm before turning off the current one, it's going to go ahead and give us this alarm. So I'm going to go ahead, hit turn on alarm again. There we go. It's going to give us this alert. So now we can't do it until we turn off the old one. Let's try turning off the old one. Perfect. Let's go ahead and enter a new one. Again, I'm going to do 2:30 PM. Just like that, turn on the alarm. Now I'm going to go ahead and close the app. Come back. And go ahead and try to put in another alarm. And we should get the same alert. Yep, there you go, perfect. And if you go ahead and now wait for that specific time you set in your alarm app, it'll go ahead and pop up the notification And then of course also play the sound if you set the sound in as well. All right, I haven't noticed any bugs, so currently you should be all set. Awesome. Alrighty, that's it for this video. I will see you next time. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video and serious about becoming a developer, you should totally consider joining Red Fools Academy. Once you sign up, you will get full access to all of our premium courses, support from myself and the Red Fools Studio team. Our courses include full stack website development, app development, game development, and many more to come. On your first sign up, you get a free 7 days to try it all out. A link will be added to the description, or you can go to the official website at redfoolstudio.com. See you in the lectures!